In the beginning, the world was untouched and barren, unmoved by interactions. Then came along the player named 5235. He came upon the world with one thing in his head: make profits. He didn't know how he would, but he knew he would find a way. After trial and error, he made it all the way to success after 3 days. Not before polluting the entire world though. Then he left the world and ascended into the clouds. But he promised he would come back.
I promise to make my sequel to this later down the road.
A second coming. The time has come. Hello everybody, and welcome back. Today we continue on a journey of absolute power and wealth. Today we make clear of the world of all of its impurities and rebuild, from the simple all the way to its complex forms. We include things from the past and rebuild them in the new world. Not to mention the new ways of energy, quality of life changes, and new ways of making. Also, we acquire the secrets of energy itself, and a ton of new items and machines, and of course, a ton of confusion. So buckle up for a huge amount of information I will squish into your mind. So without further ado, let us continue. After I returned back into the world and ready to judge on what has been done in the first 3 days, I realized that I didn't like the layout of all the machines. So I did a flood to rid the world of all of its impurities. Then I said, let there be grass upon the dirt. And there was grass, what's more. And then I said it was good. So Alright, enough with it. Let's get serious. First thing I want to do is to make a better source of power, since in the original, my main source of power were the wind turbines. And I said it was the best energy producer, but what I didn't mention was it was only good if you were broke. So my new source of power would be something different. Okay, so during the first few times of playing, I discovered this. The modular section of Tier 2. It had something to do with diesel, but I didn't know how to get it at the time. But now I do. I know how to get them now. And if it's a generator like it says in the name, it makes power. And a good amount of energy if it wanted diesel for it. So I got to building it. And, how do I make a generator work? So, how to make a generator work? First, as the name suggests, we're gonna need diesel for this generator. So first, we're gonna place it on the controller, which by its own description, is the brain of the generator. Next is the fuel input, which you will take the little yellow thing and put this fuel input going into the controller. Next is the crankshaft, which will connect all the other components to the generator. Next is the cylinder, which gives the generator more torque. Next is the air input, which if you know anything about cars, air is needed in order for the car to use gasoline, but we're gonna use diesel, so same thing. Next is the exhaust, which again, cars, need somewhere for the gas released by the chemical reaction of exploding diesel into energy and releases the CO2 into the atmosphere. And last is the diesel generator, which converts the torque into usable energy. And boom, you just made an insanely good energy farm. And it doesn't use that much diesel in order to work. And if you don't add one of the things mentioned, it will alert you that it needs said item. And this is just my design of it, but you can get a better design on it on the Industrialist wiki. Basically, you just converted mechanical energy into electrical energy. Pretty cool, right? After I gained all the information from a tutorial I found, I made my first generator. And this would serve me well for many days that I played. And I found that it makes 1 mmf of energy. But wait, I just turned the machine on. How did it just make 1 mmf of energy that quickly? Could it be? Wait, no way. Oh yes, wait, past myself. It did just produce 1 mmf of energy in just a couple of milliseconds. So just to be sure of my suspicions, I connected it into a battery to see how much energy it actually produced. It filled the entire battery in a couple seconds. So I got to thinking, if this thing can produce energy with the machine I just made to make the liquid necessary to make the generator function, could that mean I could connect the energy just produced back into the machines for a continuous cycle? Turns out to be an arousing yes, it can. I have just unlocked the secret to... And I connected the energy produced into an HMVT tower, which I unlocked all the way back in day 2. Since the tower can hold a ton of energy, it has a far range on how far wires can connect to. But at first, I used this thing to connect all the machines, but I changed it into the tower later in the day. This was a huge advantage, an advancement in story, since this is significantly better than all the previous power sources from day 1 to 3 combined. So you sure bet I used this for anything and everything I could use it. The next task on my list is to redo the iron plate production. Back in the original, I made it so there was only one boiler to make steam, and distributed that steam all throughout the productions. But this time, I wanted to make it better, since I see that just doing one was a very bad idea. So this time, I made 2. Yeah, I know, revolutionary idea. But this time, instead of wind turbines to power it all, I was gonna use the newly made energy farm for the production, which I used the color blue to indicate that it was for the iron plate production. This is also where I changed from that ugly tower pole into the newly added HMVT tower to extend power lines over long distances. And after just building 4 iron plate productions, I realized something. The steam making was super ugly looking, so I got rid of the whole thing and set out to make it a lot better. For the rest of day 4, it was just me trying to figure out how to not confuse myself with these pipe directions. The reason for it being called version 1 is because I later got rid of it and made the entire thing better. And I mean, just look at this. Would you even understand this at first glance? Yeah, no. So yeah, I made this thing 2 times more confusing to look at in day 5 when I redid the entire steam making. So yeah, look forward to that. But I'll explain it, so don't get worried about it. Now, for the rest of day 4, it was just spent on building iron plate productions. And I got a plan on how I can make it better. I'm gonna make the old iron plate production, but instead of 4 of them, it's gonna be 8 and possibly more of them. So I got all the way to the 6th production and ultimately decided on leaving the rest for the next day. Alright, for all of day 4, you notice that I've been covering the money count. During the last day of the first video, When I was done and I said I wanted hope for nothing to go wrong again, foreshadowing, I left Industrialist overnight when I finished day 3 to get rid of all the pollution. And here we are. So some background information that I should have mentioned is now here. And leaving Industrialist overnight came with some income, of course. So when I left with $7 million, when it was day 4, I was at $14 million and 1.1 million research points. I didn't AFK Industrialist for obvious reasons. The first thing I wanted to do is to keep my promise that I made on day 4, and it's to finish the iron plate productions. But before I did that, I went through the productions to see if things were going as intended. First, iron is overflowing, good. Next, steam is doing something weird, but I'm sure that's fine. Oh, it still works. It's fine. Alright, let's get to building. And done. And everything is working fine as well. So we're good at that. Next is to unlock some things, like a power control thing, but I don't know how it works. Let's just put that aside. Now, for our grand reveal, let's make gold. But how do we do that? Disclaimer, do not build this only if you're desperate. First of all, how do we make gold? Well, this is where all that confusion takes place. And we're gonna need a couple more machines to make gold possible. Now get ready for everything that I'll explain to you that you probably won't even understand once we're finished with this. First, it all starts with this, a plastic refinery, in which we need oil and water to make the next material, ethanol, a gas needed for the next machine. Next is the oxidation plant, which spins the ethanol into acetic acid, which will use a fluid pipe intersection to get all the materials going in the right directions. Then we take out the acetic acid and it makes its way to the next machine, the gold acid refinery, which needs 3 different materials for it to make the first piece of gold. But I don't want this. Since the mass is a 24 karat gold piece, we're gonna work our way up there. Now, for a bit of a detour, the gold acid refinery needs acetic acid, water, and a new item, rich soil. And how do we get that? We first place down a soil extractor, which uses water to work, so I put a water pump nearby. Then I'll put 1 unit of soil. So we're gonna place 3 soil extractors for the reason for the next machine. The trommel. This uses water and soil produced to make 4 different materials, but we're only going to use 1. Once soil is put into the trommel, it starts spinning and outputs 4 items: bauxite residue, which I don't know what it is, gravel, and sand. All of these I don't need, but what I do need is 1 other material, rich soil. This is the final material for the gold acid refinery. Then we're going to take that rich soil and bring it over to the gold acid refinery, where it takes water, acetic acid, and rich soil to make a 10 karat gold. You thought we were done? Sorry, but we're not done here. Then once it outputs a 10 karat gold, we put that into a new machine, a pressurized water filter. which uses, of course, water, and a 10 karat gold and outputs 12 karat gold. But we're also going to need a residue irrigation system. So there's a fluid and iron pipe intersection there. And for the gold acid refinery, we're just going to place a bit there, going into a gold fluid silo. And for the water, for the pressurized water filter, I just place one nearby. Then we put that into another gold acid refinery. We need the following materials: gold we've just produced, water, and acetic acid. But I'm not going to build another acetic acid maker. So we're going to take the already made acetic acid and make a pipeline all the way to the other one. But since we just made a huge line to get there, the acetic acid will just build up there. So we're going to use an overflow gate to get the overflow of gas back into the first gold acid refinery. And for the water, I just placed it next to the gold acid refinery, which we'll use for the next machine. Then it outputs an 18 karat gold piece, and we put that into another pressurized water filter, which then we need water, so we'll add a junction out where it outputs. Then we'll make the divided water go to the next machine. And then we add a fluid and item pipe intersection at the midpoint here. And for residue, I just made a cut through all the other pipes just so it can go to the fluid silo, instead of placing multiple of them for the sake of saving money. And then finally, when the pressurized water filter is done, outputs a 24 karat gold piece, which then goes into a industrial electric furnace, which I don't know why would even need an industrial one, which then melts the 24 karat gold into liquid gold, which then goes into a ingot molder and then made into a gold bar, which then gets put into a drug teapot to be sold for money. And I know that was a lot, but that's really everything that in order to make gold. And there is a better way to make gold, but this is the way I found, and I'll probably stick to it. But now, for the additional information, like the amounts of units or liters that every machine needs, this is what this section is dedicated to. For the plastic refinery, it needs 1 liter of crude oil, and if you're wondering or have already seen it by playing the game yourself, the Tier 2 oil extractor extracts 0.12 liters of crude oil per second and uses 3 kmf of energy to do so. And I don't know why I did only 2 of them, but I did change the design in a later day. In the water part, I just put 1 pump next to the machine for easy access. The ethanol produced by the plastic refinery, which takes 4 seconds and 60 kmf per second, so it really uses 240 kmf of energy in total. Then it goes into an oxidation plant, which needs 60 liters of ethanol, and yes, gas is measured in liters in the game. Found that surprising. The oxidation plant uses 60 liters of ethanol and converts it into 60 liters of acetic acid in 20 seconds, using 500 kmf per second, so it really uses 10 mmf of energy. I believe that's the conversion to convert that. But it can do this in 5 seconds if 5 liters of oxygen is added using only 1 mmf of energy per second. So it cuts my time into 1/4 and uses half the energy to make, which I find this out in the final phase. Then the acetic acid goes into the gold acid refinery, where the recipe is used. It needs 2 liters of acetic acid, 6 liters of water, which the pump is just right here, and uses an intersection to get water and the acetic acid through, and 1 unit of rich soil. Which brings me to my next thing: how to make rich soil. First, you need a soil extractor, which needs 10 liters of water and 200 kmf per second over 1 second of energy to produce a single unit of soil, which is why I placed 3. But not rich soil, we need an extra step for that. Then it goes into a trommel, which needs 40 units of soil and 80 liters of water. And for its water, I just split the pipeline of water used by the gold refinery and split the line going to this. Then once it's done, it outputs bauxite residue, gravel, and sand. But most importantly, rich soil. The rest can just go into storage. I'll just put that there. The straw mill takes 28 seconds to make these, and it uses 17.9 kmf per second, so it uses about 500 kmf of energy for it to do all this. Now, returning back to the gold acid refinery, it uses rich soil, water, and acetic acid. In over 5 seconds, using 100 kmf per second, and makes a 10 karat gold. And the machine outputs residue, so into storage you go. Next is to increase the carat into a 24 karat gold. So next is to put it into a pressurized water filter, which needs 4 units of 10 karat gold and 20 liters of water in order to output 2 units of 12 karat gold. Now we need another gold acid refinery, which now we need acetic acid again, the gold and water. And as explained in the previous section, I created a pipeline from the acetic acid already produced and ran it all the way here. And I made an overflow gate so it can go back to the start. And once 2 liters of acetic acid, 6 liters of water, and 1 unit of 12 karat gold is inputted, it takes 5 seconds using 500 kmf per second to make it into an 18 karat gold. Then we put that into another pressurized water filter, which is the same as the last 4 units of gold and then 20 liters of water, for it to make 24 karat gold. But we want a gold bar, so more steps, which then it needs specifically an industrial electric furnace for whatever reason, using 1 unit of 24 karat gold over 5 seconds using 200 kmf per second and melting it into liquid gold, which if you look, I could have used the other karat gold, but once melted, it gives a decimal amount of liquid. But a 24 karat gold gives exactly 1 liter of liquid gold, making it faster, possibly. Then finally it goes into an ingot molder, needs 2 liters of liquid gold in order to make 1 unit of a gold bar. Also, another thing that I forgot to mention was the unlocking of other machines. Most notably was the power control and the breaker box. The power control, I didn't know how it worked, so to the side, but the breaker box is pretty easy to understand. You connect the power line with power in it into the input. Then if you take a look inside, there's switches and color symbols, like on the HMVT tower. Once a switch is activated, it lets power flow through and goes into a specific output node. And this I find a pretty neat thing to have. Now, that was all for day 5. And during the recording, the world was getting more foggy. And by the end of day 5, the world was brown. Maybe the flood got rid of something crucial, something that would come back to haunt me in the future. When it was the final of actual day 5 and 5.5, the world was getting more foggy, kinda like what happened on day 3. This time, I experienced it in real time. So, you know the drill for doing this. Let's build a scrubber area. And for my location of the area, it would just be next to spawn. I don't know why. Or like directly on top of spawn. And that was far to get energy from across the map. And normally, I would just make a power line to go from point A to B. But in fog, it's like trying to place these towers blindfolded. You can't see exactly where you're placing, so I had to get clever. And so I did. Turns out, if you just position your camera at the already placed tower and just position your mouse or positioning the circle so it's touching the tower, that's the distance of the tower needs to be placed. This is only useful when there's fog and the power generator is far away, or if you just don't want to place a ton of wind turbines like I did in the original. So I used this technique to get from all the way from the diesel generators, and using the breaker box, using the switch yellow and the power line yellow to indicate that this was for the scrubber area. Yeah, I color coded this. And for the scrubber area, it's just the same as the old, nothing different. And now to distribute power. And done. And that was the real end of day 5. After leaving Industrialist overnight, I was able to take off the blindfold, and I went to see what I was doing when I was blindfolded. Now, on our journey on making gold, of course all the machines needed energy, so I decided not to get the energy from the already made, and made an entire new diesel farm just next to the gold farm. And ugh, look at this! Looks kinda disgusting to look at for me. First, I'll remove all the HMVT towers that I placed because I'll do something cool. What if I didn't have to place new towers every time I wanted to travel energy, and just connected lines over already placed towers to shortcut this? Isn't that the point of the towers? This turned out to be a genius move by me, since I can make energy go through the already placed HMVT towers and make the energy go to places without placing new ones, giving me a beautiful power line. Now this just opened the possibilities for new ideas, like what if I placed towers in a grid pattern all across the world and have sections of towers with their own breaker boxes, so I can provide the world with infinite energy and efficiency. Truly industrial. Now for pretty much all of day 6, it's just redoing the steam making, just making it more compact. First attempt, not very good. Second attempt looks better, but just one issue. I know that one of these boilers makes a ton of steam, like I emphasized it in the first video. But now, when I place the multiple boilers going into one shared pipeline, you can maybe see where I'm getting at. Steam can clog. Yep, a gas can clog in pipes. And there's just so much steam made going into one shared pipeline that it simply cannot handle it, just making the steam go very slowly. Of course, I didn't know this, and I just assumed that the boilers were the problem, since in the past, I've had this problem before, and the boilers would just not take the water and not make steam. Frustrating. I wrestled with this problem for probably an hour and thought to myself before coming up with that conclusion that I just made. And I just had one solution. What if I made the pipe bigger so it can hold more steam? Turns out there is such a thing, and it is in the Tier 4 section. Bigger pipes. Tier 4 is like at the very bottom of the research thing, which unlocks some pretty OP machines and stuff. But right now, I need pipes, bigger ones. And indeed, there is, but I needed to unlock some stuff, like the large diesel engine. Huh, interesting. In the industrial firebox. And boom, bigger pipes and other things, which took a good chunk of my research points. Now, how do these things even work? Turns out, this thing needs an adapter, which takes the normal pipes and puts them in here, a large fluid pipe conversion, which I can use the large pipes which holds 2,000 liters. The pipes I'm using can only hold 40, but look at this. It needs electricity. Damn it. And there I brought the big pipe all the way to the gold silo. Now what? Well, we need to convert it back into normal pipes, which we need another converter and connect the pipes to there, and there's how you do that. There was still struggles with the new technology, obviously, but I was able to fix it. Like this one. Looks normal, but look at before. Don't see the problem? Here, I'll explain. When there's over 2,000 liters of steam in here, and trying to fit all that into one puny 40-liter pipe, yeah, the game won't allow that, which is why I did this. Multiple pipes go into the same area, so it can better take out steam, as the contrast as it being just one pipe. And I realized it was the same for the other side, so I could take care of the steam much faster. And it takes the steam out much faster and puts it into storage. And look over here, I placed 2 converters, one for half the boilers and the same for the other. In my own words,
okay, I think I may have found the problem. It was probably because I was producing so much steam and the pipes simply couldn't keep up with the huge supply of steam being traveled all the way over here. So they just simply gave out. Oh, okay.
And look at this, more cable management, and it looks very good. And I did some planning on what I was gonna do next, like bringing back diesel production. And that was all for the first half of day 6. The first half of the day possessed some of the most interesting decisions that I would say looking back at this. For example, the first half of the day is just spent on rebuilding the refined diesel production and by adding multiple of them. So let's skip to the end and boom. Another great example on how cool this cable management is, and some other things like the one going on in the steam production, which I used the color red for. Did I even forget to mention that? Anyways, let's get to the other thing. Gold 2.0, maybe. Yeah, it was very interesting, to say the least. I think what I was doing here was trying to remember how to build version 1 of the design, but I didn't remember how it was done. I definitely knew that the first design was bad, and this design would have to be better, but it was kinda worse. I just think my main problem with this was just the power, since I used red for this, and red was already being used. Perhaps this caused the machines to be absolute and almost every machine here uses a lot of energy for them to work. And with the power lines providing with almost nothing at times, this overall was an absolute mess. Which is why the next day I will find a solution and the perfect design. Maybe. Gold, the one material that I'm not gonna use a tutorial for, has been the material I've been trying to make. And all designs up to this point have been failures, although they still work. Trying to see what's the most compact way I can make the machines and utilize all space. This time, I won't fail. This time, I'll see everything. I had a vision. This day truly marked the genius of my engineering, and I made some truly remarkable discoveries, like the solutions of all of my previous problems, and my pipe management was truly a work as well. And my discovery and predictions to potential problems, let's walk through them. In this design of gold making, I was gonna take all my previous designs and make them better. One problem that I realized in this is here. At the very beginning, the plastic refinery. I found that only having one wasn't enough, so I placed 3 more so the oxidation plant can work faster. But I quickly found that this would be a problem. Explain away past me.
what I'm saying is I think it's making more. I think it's making more than they can use. This game was at 20 and now it's almost gone.
And this I found to be correct. Since I was making so much ethanol, the oxidation plant couldn't keep up and my power couldn't also, leading to these pipes to be filled with gas. And yeah, I don't want this. Which I find a solution to this problem like literally a couple minutes later. Eureka. And then it's pretty much the same as it was, but this time with some major changes. Like all the water pumps being in just one area instead of placing them where convenient. And now, for our new addition to this process. Oxygen. But what's it used for? And why do we need this? Alright, so what is oxygen used for? Well, it can be used for a lot of things. But those don't matter, or not yet at least. But there's one reason for using it. Remember in Date 5, specifically section Additional Information for Gold, when I said this or that. But it can do this in 5 seconds if 5 liters of oxygen is added using only 1 mmF of energy per second. Well, this is our reason. So, how is oxygen made? It's made in this electrolysis plant. Hence the name of the section. It needs water, and that's it. And through some wizardry, and I don't know what happens, it splits the water into its elements? I don't know. But hey, they got me oxygen, and that's all that matters. Then we'll bring that oxygen, and the hydrogen can just go into storage, and the oxygen will be brought here. So, it can make this go faster. Now that we know how to get oxygen, we can now use this to solve our problem from before. The problem of the oxidation plant not being able to keep up with the huge supply of ethanol and not being able to convert it fast enough. But there's another issue with that. I thought that it needed logic, since this thing can convert normal power into power that can power the logic stuff. And so I thought it'd be the same for this. But it was not. Turns out, there's a strange thing about this. This thing, the HV transformer. When I looked at the power inputs, it looked like this. But the electrolysis plant looked like this. So I got to thinking that maybe that this was something entirely different and needed an adapter of some kind. And that turned out to be this, the HV transformer. It turns out yes, this input node is something different, which is called an HV pole or something, which converts normal power to the power in the HV pole. I don't know. Well, all that matters is that this somehow works and is now making the electrolysis machine working. And I forgot to mention, yes, the machine is placed on top of water pipes. It's very intentional, and I don't know why it even let me do this in the first place, but I won't question it. But I decided to completely redo my farm, just to accommodate for the new machine. So yeah, see you in a couple dozen minutes. Alright, here it is. The solution to my problems, now it gets 60 liters of ethanol, it spins, and uses half of the energy. So now it goes really fast. It lets energy build up for the next time the machine will be used. And now, there's never overfilled pipes. It's almost always empty, which was my goal since the beginning. Truly. Eureka. From this moment on, I was just on a roll, making everything so compact and precise. It was truly a work of art. Like, look at this. It's just so beautiful to look at. All the pipes are just wow. And everything is just so perfect. One pipe can truly just mess up everything up. And look at this. 2 water pumps to power everything that needs water. But one interesting thing that happened when I was doing this, placing this humongous thing, my reason for this is because I was noticing that not all machines were getting powered fast enough. And I saw this as a problem, since then that would lead to the farm working slow. And I believed that it was the power lines failing me. So I decided to make all the power lines go into one huge tower, so that all my huge power that I'm getting wouldn't be limited by the little towers. If you don't understand that, basically, I wanted to connect all the machines to just one tower. But after tinkering with this for a while, it proved to be a waste of my time. And off to the final hours I went. But I still got a badge though, so I gotta count for something. This part is just spent on figuring out the power situation and finishing up the gold farm. While trying to figure out the power, I found I could have just connected multiple power lines to the same machine. This was a crucial discovery, but I decided to hold on to this, since I wanted to save this knowledge for later. And then I finally got rid of this ugly version 2 of the gold farm, and now the version 3 of this will now be in use. I went around the world checking stuff, but this problem still remained. How do I power all the machines with full power? And this is a problem that would stick to me until the final hours. But hey, look at this. I placed down 2 industrial electric furnaces, since it will give me 2 units of gold, since the pressurized water filter, when split into 2 lines, will equally divide the gold into those 2 lines. So then 2 liters of gold is made and is perfect for the ingot molder, which needs that perfect amount to finally make a gold bar. And that was the end of day 7.
Of it? Alright, what I want to do today is just build a whole ton of these.
I literally only built 1 more, and the rest is very simple. I just replicated the first one and just built it again. Nothing different, just a huge hit to my bank account though. But there was only one good thing that I did today, since now I've just built a new gold farm. Now the power could not really keep up, and now the farm is running very painfully slow. So I had an idea. What if I just completely got rid of my diesel generators and completely redo how energy is made? And so it was. I was going to completely redo how my energy is made. But how are we going to do that? Well, it all starts with this thing. The large diesel generator. But how does it work? For an entire hour and 40 minutes were spent on building this. But eventually, I got to this. I won't go into detail. No. It's the end of the video, so might as well do so. First thing, delete the old setup. It might be a problem, but I doubt it. Anyways, let's see here. It needs machine oil, diesel, which is going to use refined, and optional water. Alright, doesn't seem hard enough. And the water part was going to be distilled water, since I assume it's the best one to use, and we already know how to get it. Surely the pipe management won't be a pain to do. It will. And I removed the towers for some reason. Maybe since I knew I was going to redo the power system in the new world 2.0. Anyways, how do we get machine oil? We need refined diesel for it. And in the original design, it already struggled to work with diesel of 1 production. So I'll just make 2 of them for this. 1 for the generator and 1 for the machine oil. Which brings me to my next question. How to actually make it? We need a filtration plant for this, so the refined diesel goes into the filtration plant and makes machine oil. Knowing that I was gonna need at least 2 refined diesel productions, I got rid of my old design that had served me well since day 4. rest in peace. And I did this just so I could move it and make room for the other one. My first attempt was this. I used the filtration for this. And you'd be wondering, why'd I do this? Well, since I knew I needed more refined diesel that I would normally need, my genius brain decided not to do 2 refined diesel productions, but instead convert gasoline into crude diesel, which actually sounds like a pretty good idea instead of putting it into storage. But, no. So, next attempt it is. My second attempt is a continuation of the first, but we're almost getting to what it is in the present. Third attempt is the final one. The one that will eventually lead to what is in the present. 2 refined diesel productions, and here's how it will go. First one, the main one, will be the main one for the generators. Since I will be using 2 generators and 1 filtration plant for this, the process is pretty basic, nothing new, except that it'll be more compact. And now the second one will have a pipe going to here, to a storage, or, well, not yet anyways. They're just connected here for now. Now for the distilled water, nothing new. Store the concentrated salt solution, and use the distilled water. The filtration plant will go here in the middle. Perfect assets. All I need to do is power this thing, but obviously no power. So I'll use Solar Farm 1 to kickstart the machines. And boom, here you have the energy. Oh my god, what? It filled the battery in seconds, what? Oh, we just made a great investment here. This is perfect for powering everything. And so, that was it. And I lived happily ever after. Oh wait, there's 30 minutes left. So off I went to build a second generator. And this would pose some minor problems, since for the first one, it was pretty easy. But this one would not be so. Now, I had to do some lengthy pipe management, but I did it anyways. First, add a junction for the diesel line, and make it go through the distilled water line, and for the machine oil, I made this beautiful design just for the machine oil. Everything else you can see will be able to work as normally. And after connecting everything up, it works. But I want to add some finishing touches, like now adding the storage tank for excess refined diesel, and now using the breaker box again, but it'll be changed from this to a better one after color coding this. Look at this. The first look at what it'll be in the future. This is the solution I was talking about when I was making Gold Farm version 3. This is it. And I decided to see what it would be like to see everything run on the new power. So I connected some things and flipped the switches. And everything works fine. So we're good at that. But not everything. Since the gold farms, I don't have energy yet. And for a reason. Because I'll do that next time. Now, and finally, I bring out the power control. Now I want to see how it actually works. Now I had to delete some stuff to fit this, but let's go through this. There's 12 nodes, 4 of them are input nodes, where power goes in, and 8 output nodes, where power goes out. You can select in the menu the amount of power that can go through, and that's all. Seeing that there were 8 made me have an idea. What if I place 2 breaker boxes, since they have 4 input nodes? And so I did. The 4 of the output nodes would go into one breaker box, and the other 4 would go into the other breaker box, effectively giving me 2 whole breaker boxes for more possibilities for better control of energy that I couldn't have done with my original design. Or I haven't thought about it yet. And so I used 1 breaker box for the original, blue for iron plates, green for diesel production, red for steam production, and yellow for the scrubbers, which I had turned off since my pollution was well over 200%. And the final minutes ticked down. After having some final thoughts about what I'll do in the future, I was finally able to leave and relax. And I had some great plans for the future, with all the knowledge combined into one final stand.
and finally able to conquer the world once and for all. And that concludes day 8. And there was evening, and there was morning, and I said that it was really good.
Thanks for watching, for anyone who did even watch this until the end. Although I know, for some of you, you did watch this for the information given, and nothing more. But it's fine, since I learn alongside, or I explain information already known. For my multiple weekends that I did this, and having nothing to do, as I had to boot up Industrialist and make days 4 to 8. I originally was gonna do until day 6, but I decided to make more. What a horrible plan that was, since I knew I was gonna have to do more work in editing. But I pushed through and I made it all come to life in the end. This was started in August, the same month of the release of Industrialist Magnesia, and that really tells how much I wanted to play. Editing took place on September 6th, and due to school, I didn't really have much to work. But due to week-long breaks that I have, I was able to do it all, and I present to you the video you've watched. The previous time doing something like this, I was under a lot of stress, and that was when I almost had every single day to do this. But now it is very much less, and I didn't have to go crazy at all. I'll probably do the style of posting each day separately instead of posting the whole video, which I see does seem to be liked. Anyways, that is all I have to say. This concludes video 2. The trilogy will come, and it will be good. But that is all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.